Before starting the video, please subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon to turn the notifications on. Blue Pumpkin presents 8 interesting psychological hacks you should know. Number 1. Make people like you by asking for a small favor. You can make use of the psychological phenomenon called the Benjamin Franklin effect to make other people like you more. It's a neat psychological life hack. The psychological effect is attributed to an observation of Benjamin Franklin, who noticed that when you do someone a favor, you will eventually like them more than you did before. Number 2. Pay close attention to people's feet. The feet of an individual can give you great insights into what this person is thinking. By closely observing the feet of those you're talking to, you'll be able to tell immediately how interested or comfortable they are. For example, if you're talking to a person whose feet are pointed towards you, you can pretty safely assume they're interested in the conversation. If, on the other hand, someone's feet are pointed away from you, they subconsciously communicate that they do not want to talk to you for much longer. Number 3. Mirror people's body language to build up trust. If you subtly mimic the body language of the person you're talking to, you can effectively build up trust with them. By mirroring the way they speak and how they move, they'll like you more, because, to them, it will seem as if you are pretty good compatible. Scientists have shown in various experiments that the so-called chameleon effect can not only facilitate the smoothness of social interactions, but it can also increase liking between those who interact. To put it simply, we enjoy speaking to interaction partners who mimic our postures, facial expressions, and other behaviors. Number 4. Spend more time around the people you're hoping to befriend. According to the mere exposure effect, people tend to like other people who are familiar to them. In one example of this phenomenon, psychologists at the University of Pittsburgh had 4 women pose as students in a university psychology class. Each woman showed up in class a different number of times. When experimenters showed male students pictures of the 4 women, the men demonstrated a greater affinity for those women they'd seen more often in class, even though they hadn't interacted with any of them. Number 5. Tell them a secret. Self-disclosure may be one of the best relationship-building techniques. Experimenters provided some student pairs with a series of questions to ask, which got increasingly deep and personal. For example, one of the intermediate questions was, how do you feel about your relationship with your mother? Other pairs were given small talk-type questions. For example, one question was, what is your favorite holiday? Why? At the end of the experiment, the students who'd asked increasingly personal questions reported feeling much closer to each other than students who'd engaged in small talk. You can try this technique on your own as you're getting to know someone. When you share intimate information with another person, they are more likely to feel closer to you and want to confide in you in the future. Number 6. Show that you can keep their secrets too. 2 experiments led by researchers at the University of Florida, Arizona State University, and Singapore Management University found that people place a high value on both trustworthiness and trustiness in their relationships. Those 2 traits proved especially important when people were imagining their ideal friend and ideal employee. Number 7. Let them talk about themselves. Harvard researchers recently discovered that talking about yourself may be inherently rewarding, the same way that food, money, and sex are. In one study, the researchers had participants sit in an fMRI machine and respond to questions about either their own opinions or someone else's. Participants had been asked to bring a friend or family member to the experiment who was sitting outside the fMRI machine. In some cases, participants were told that their responses would be shared with a friend or relative. In other cases, their responses would be kept private. Results showed that the brain regions associated with motivation and reward were most active when participants were sharing information publicly, but also were active when they were talking about themselves without anyone listening. In other words, letting someone share a story or 2 about their life instead of blabbing about yours could give them more positive memories of your interaction. Number 8. Compliment other people. People will associate the adjectives you use to describe other people with your personality. This phenomenon is called spontaneous trait transference. One study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that this effect occurred even when people knew certain traits didn't describe the people who had talked about them. According to Gretchen Rubin, author of the book The Happiness Project, whatever you say about other people influences how people see you. If you describe someone else as genuine and kind, people will also associate you with those qualities. The reverse is also true. If you are constantly trashing people behind their backs, your friends will start to associate the negative qualities with you as well. If you like the video, please comment below.